What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Esper Thixie. Welcome to another episode of Point and Laugh, the show where I make you a better deck builder and a worse person by means of Vine Boom. First up this week, Girls Just Want to Have Fun by surgically removing yours. After that, it's Bob in the extremely normal deck. Finally, the literal worst deck I have ever seen that was not bad because it was trying to conform to some type of weird pun. Thank you all for your time. For everybody who subscribes to this video, I will remove one chupacabra noise from the editor's nighttime playlist. Mango! Sleep lightly. And first up today, we have Hypothetical Cannon. This is spooky, scary. It's an aristocrats / mono black value deck. It aims to recur the commander consistently to keep the board clear until winning eventually. I asked some players at my LGS about it, having played it for most weeks there for the last 8 months. They told me I was already running half of a few aristocrat infinites and to add the respective other halves. Current biggest problems I see in play are falling apart against non-creature decks and having games where it's clear I'll win in 3 to 5 business days. One of my friends likes to describe my deck building as cruel and unusual, so I'm curious if you or the internet agree with him. Extremely loud incorrect buzzer. Extremely loud. This is not an aristocrat's deck. This is you staring at a goth girl. This is you and the Jamba Juice staring slack-jawed at a goth woman. Primer alone, I'm gonna take issue with the sentence, recur the commander consistently. What is dope as fuck about this commander is you have a board wipe in the command zone. Depending on how you set up the deck and how good you are at like token generation, you may or may not be confident that it's going to wipe out everything the first time you play it. But this is the normal brainworm of what if I do commander as many times as possible, that must win games. And that is true for some commanders. I don't believe it's true for Massacre Girl, but I will give you a chance. But like, off rip, the fact that we have not gone, okay, I have a great board wipe in the command zone, I don't have to play creature removal, and all my other cards can just be good because of it, I'm worried for you. So we have Planeswalkers to benefit from death. I mean, these are like, listen, both mommies in their own right. I think incorrect if we go for scary, but if you want to do spooky, yeah, this is like the type of expensive, funny shit you can play. Wrong, probably. Not the most wrong. So let's talk about how Blood Artist is a 0/1 and will die in the first wave of creature deaths. So Hypothetical Cannon, it clears boards decently consistently, but it runs into problems. What I think is that we're worried about clearing the boards over and over instead of I want to clear the board once and I want that to set me up to win. Those are the two hoses. And so broadly speaking, I don't agree with this as an aristocrats deck. Black is great as aristocrats, for sure. Most of your aristocrat pieces blow up in the first wave, right? We put Blood Artist on the field. I'm sure we have Zulaport Cutthroat in here somewhere. Where is that dipshit? First wave, we're done. So all the other triggers, like I saw a Crowan Horse, I saw Hunted Bone Brute, and so you are at least paying attention to like setting up your opponents having tokens to make sure you have 1/1s to consume. Doing this as an aristocrat strategy seems like the McDonald's ice cream machine. You love it, it would be really tasty, it breaks immediately. And so I can understand why this might stall out, because a lot of the things that should theoretically be converting to your victory trip and die as soon as you resolve the commander. So the things that's evil. That's evil as fuck, and you know it. The things I like are the effects like Obnixilis Unshackled and Yahenni. These are phenomenal because if you have these on board and you do a big Massacre Girl board wipe, they're going to grow. They're going to be able to run in front of the avalanche, and then when the dust settles, you just have a board of a couple extremely massive assholes left over. We have a commander that says, I will handle killing all the creatures, and then we're committing more slots in our deck to, what if I killed some of their creatures? So that I disagree with. Like Grim Haruspects, I'm okay with them tripping and dying. Them dying on the second wave, I think we can extract enough value that it is acceptable. Harvester of Souls not dying until the 5th wave, we'll pick up like 10 fucking cards since we're doing some token generation, and then it's okay that we lose him. We spend 6 mana to pick up 10 cards once. fine. Same goes for Massacre Girl Known Killer, that's fine. Yeah, so Bloodflies is great. See, like, most of this deck's win cons are accidents happen, bro. This is, I mean, here's the thing, Labrador. This is ineffective hate. This is the hate of a squealing teenager, and we are going to mold them into the effective hatred of a squealing man. Pitiless Plunder is right above Mojo, so they are here. So Sir Conrad is also, I think it is the best of the ones you have, because it has 4 toughness. I do think it is the same flavor of Mistake, where Aristocrats is not the way Massacre Girl wants to capitalize on her effect, or it's a very clunky way for Massacre Girl to capitalize on her effect. So we're doing a little bit of tutors, a little bit of draw. I like Season of Loss, okay. I'm my 23rd birthday. I thought I was done being called a squealing teenager. Almost canon. Beautiful. Okay, so we do have the right ideas in our brains somewhere. We just want to bring them to the forefront. I think doing this like tricky recurring thing with our commander is fine. I don't think it's the best thing we can do, but I think it's fine. Ideally, I would want to treat Massacre Girl as 5 mana board wipe. Quintessential goth girl in media moment. They walk into your life unexpectedly, they fuck everything up, and then they disappear into the wind. Thrilling Encore is, I don't like as much, because the only time this is going to work is if we have Massacre Girl, have one of these, and then like sack Massacre Girl. Oh no, like I just can't imagine a world where we have both cast Massacre Girl and we have 5 more mana to spend on Thrilling Encore. And I'm bringing up this specifically because where I would want this deck to be, this is a different avenue of capitalizing on what Massacre Girl is doing, because you can be pretty confident that you're going to blow everything up. And if you're pretty confident that we can blow everything up, it means we're going to have something tasty that we can steal out of the graveyard, versus just trying to like clear the board over and over and over again. Like if we execute our trick correctly, we ideally want Massacre Girl to be holding hands with Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat. If we wanted to convert this into a win, we execute the plan perfectly. Massacre Girl fakes her death, backflips back onto the stage, driving her stiletto heels through the brain stems of both of your Aristocrats pieces, and we convert 0 damage. And then it's just Shia LaBeouf clapping off to the left. So this is just like a good late game bomb that you can be confident you will have a use for. You are very confident that we will kill somebody's creatures at some point. In that same vein, there is Breach the Multiverse. I think there are even more mass recursion cards, but that is what I would be doing. I would be doing things that allow you to rob from the graveyards that you have filled. No, Thrilling Encore is not good here, 124. That is the exact card I'm saying cut, because you're never gonna have the fucking mana for it. We have almost every good black enchantment. So like Grave Betrayal, fine. Revel in Riches, very fine. Meathook Massacre. See, this is like where your Aristocrat stuff should stop. None of this would be possible without support from our highest tier Patreon members, so please join me and Little Nadu as we take a moment to thank Badger King, Sussedin, Christian B, Ryan A, Adam S, Solar Movie, Biggest Dickus, Kyle, Jess HW, Alpha Dog 2064, Crimson Viper, Zelenor, Otterfire, Dad Out for Milk, Kyler P, Bolus Brigade, Derek H, Phelan, B Leave, Dungeon Masters Consortium, Zach G, Bobby Joe Lord, Talamar Von Geist, Troper and their 37 different identities, Bradley T, Bo, Beefcake, and Silky Wilkie. Thank you all, and enjoy the video. Hi everybody, welcome to the Mango Money Moment, a new segment that exists only because YouTube has told us that if their automatic mid-roll placer doesn't believe that my video has enough dead air in it to constitute a transitional phase, they will not put monetized ads in the middle, which can really cut into the editor's leak budget. So we're gonna have these moments where we just stop and stare for a little bit. So Meathook Massacre 2, this is basically another version of either Grave Betrayal for you, because either you get their creatures or they pay the life, and then you're working towards the end of the game. But the situation we want to avoid at all costs is I kill everything, the dust settles, I have 1/4/4 and no triggers. Blade of the Blood Chief, I like this because this will turn any creature into a thing that can scale with the wipe. God, have you not earned your Bolus's Citadel yet? Tarian Soul Cleaver, another example of a thing we can run because it will turn any of our value pieces into sticking around forever. I am not a big believer in Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar. I think you are playing these only because you want to do the tricky thing of snip-snapping Massacre Girl back onto the board, and I think if you want to replay Massacre Girl, doing it immediately does not serve you. Massacre Girl is a jump scare. Jump scares are good when you let tension build up and when you can hit people with it unexpectedly or when they're hoping to not get hit with it. If you just do like fucking jump scare hypercut, TikTok reel, Subway Surfers on the bottom, everything from that new like Art the Clown, every jump scare from Art the Clown, it's going to fall flat and it's not going to drive your game plan forward. What I would want you to do, aristocrat-ish pieces we can play instead. This will turn Massacre Girl into 4 treasures, which will give us the ramp to either cast a bomb or cast the next Massacre Girl. And then we live in the beautiful world of being able to cut all of these fucking scam effects, which I promise you are bad. Hypothetical Cannon, I'm going to place you down here because right now we are minigame focused, but the minigame we're focused on is not one that I think converts well into winning the game. And I think there is a minigame contained within a Massacre Girl deck that does convert to winning the game, but I would abandon the typical mono black aristocrat strategy. I think the deck is cute. I think you've got some good ideas at play here. And I think possibly because you're talking to a Najeela player, which is not healthy for you, you have been led astray from the power of Massacre Girl. And the true power of Massacre Girl is the giant bone daddy who can kill everybody after you do one massive, massive board wipe. This is a silly deck. Hey guys, I've been chilling with my scaly friend since last time and I met someone super cool while I was there. Bracket 3. This is what you wanted us to hurry up to? My shithead Esper deck that definitely does not win with the commander unless I'm about to scroll down to Grafted Exoskeleton? That's what the bustle's about? Okay. Now I know he's a human, but he's got a similar love for dragons, and we get along great. He really knows about how they live and stuff. I think he's a researcher or something. Doghouse, this is my new friend, Jomium. The plan for this deck is simple. I play human Kindred, but with Chromium as an unblockable hexproof commander damage dealing regular guy. For the sake of keeping flavor, I aim to only have Chromium swing as a human, since it wouldn't be very regular guy of him to pull up to the function and eat somebody only to turn into a human when convenient. I'm aware the game plan is shooting myself in the foot. I simply do not care because the dopamine go crazy when I say, what do you mean? He's just a normal guy when I swing out with an unblockable 2020. Now, without further ado, please allow me to introduce you to my good friend Jomium, the totally normal guy, Joe for short. Okay, you've brought me back around. This is Esper Voltron, and our Voltron target is in the command zone. I genuinely am going to disqualify you from spooky, or from silly. This is too good of an idea. I think the primer is silly. What I'll give you, for sure, goofy points. You've got me hooking all the way to the bank, but Esper Voltron, and I'm not even looking at the list yet, but Esper Voltron, when my commander is the target and is a hexproof unblockable creature, that's not bad by like any stretch of the imagination. Or unless we've just gone like, I'm both playing Chromium and I'm refusing to play any good cards in Esper. If the bid is not only Chromium's a human, it's also Chromium is the illiterate human who doesn't know what cards exist in Esper, then we might hit silly. We've done it. We've done it. Well, Starry, I think it's less of doubting your ability to make a shitty deck and more of believing your primer. Because your primer talks about an unblockable 2020, an Apothecary White, Adeline, nothing in these first 8 tell me anything about an unblockable 2020. So if anything, I trusted your ability to lie too much. It does also say human kindred, but like human kindred isn't bad. That's also another thing of like, you told me two perfectly good and reasonable things to attempt, and then you shoved Apothecary White into the middle of it. So we have monarchy. So we have stuff that says make a human. Okay, reveal human. Humans get abilities. Yeah, 4 more humans. Humans get +2/+2. There we go. There we go, right? Like, this can happen. Sure, tokens become card draw. Sure, board-wide indestructibility proof. What are we... You don't deserve this. Frankly. You do not deserve this. Sure, and then we're on... What's up with it? Tell me the story. Tell me the riddle. Tell me the riddle that justifies the madness, the madness bounce spell that has a madness cost equal to unsummon. Commander discard. Okay, we discarded to Chromium. There's the riddle. That works. I accept that. Hater shit, but all right. You don't deserve it. Computer enhance. What if we picked up 1 card in your fucking life? What if we picked up 1 card in your godforsaken life story? I made the deck pre-Final Fantasy. This boy's straight out of Ravnica. Neat. Neat. 1/1 for each creature you control. This seems... I do think we have to make a decision between Go Wide and Voltron. Maybe we don't. I'll hold off on that. Because I could see how, like, you put the crown on Bob. Bob's King of the Humans. This is flavorful. It will convert into... Hey, if Bob's unblockable and has his hat on, everybody dies. Then we have just shitload of mana rocks, presumably because we have to count to 1 billion. All right, so the way we want to win is either we overrun with humans, or Joe, sorry for the misnomer, or Joe is given an item that gives them +1/+1 for each creature you control. Now, genuinely, I don't think our deck supports the enlightened and vampiric, if only because I want you to be able to play this at bracket 2 and Gen Pop. If that's not a meaningful concern, if you're like, oh, my group is fine with me having really good tutors in a really bad deck, then you can keep these. If you want to ever play this at Gen Pop, we swap those for equipment tutors so that you can just tell people, like, this is bracket 2, make humans. Okay, then we have Hope Against Hope. We have Etchings of the Chosen. This can at least, like, turn our tokens. Okay, good. Right, and that's what I was figuring is, like, if we make it an equipment tutor, it's getting the thing anyway. And then what problems do we have to solve? The main problem we have to solve is how do we create lots of humans? How many human creators do we make? Yeah, we have a 7-mana 1/1. Listen, the bar is in hell, and we are going to crawl out together. Probably the best card in our deck. The other thing I want to interrogate for you, Starry, is how strict is human kindred? As long as we are winning the games with humans, how far astray can we go? Because I noticed things like a spirit creature, like a robot, but a robot that names humans. Is it okay to play non-humans if they talk about humans? That's fine. Okay, if it is a human or if it talks about humans in its text box, I think we can work with that. I mean, honestly, this is the time to go to the zoo and see what's appropriate, because making an effective Kindred deck is a process of brainworming. Right now, we just need to slurp these brainworms up into our heads. Humans decks, great. Ain't nobody doing Esper humans, damn. Okay, let's see what the Aragorn players are doing. We're not going to have access to red or green. These are soldiers. At bracket 2, how do we feel about Elspeth, who is clearly a human woman, but does not say human on her, and does not create a thing that says human? That's extremely whatever. That doesn't actually say humans. Yeah, see, this is again like, should be a human, but not actually. We have a human investigator that doesn't make humans. So company commander is probably worth considering. It does not create humans, but it is a human, and it is a human who makes a meaningful amount of shit. It may not be good enough, but the archetype as a whole is quite bad. I am going to goldfish it because this looks just heinous and I want to witness it. Excellent, we have a counter spell and no creatures in hand. I'm not going to put you through watching this particular goldfish, and I will free mulligan. Okay, lands and spells. We skip turn 1, we skip turn 2, normal bracket 3 shit. We play a hilariously ominous equipment. We play Faramir, Prince of Ilithian. We choose the opponent most likely to attack us. I'm going to be very kind and assume they give us 3/1/1s. Truly beautiful. We play a talisman. We don't play this because it will just scare the hoes. We pick somebody else and say, please, please, I require you to give me 3/1/1s. They do because they owe us money. Now we can play a tap land. I mean, we already kind of sold the ship with this. So we make three more humans for the barracks. Yes. We name somebody else and we say, please, bro, I swear to God, I will let you hit me. Just please let me make 3 more humans. They do, because we dog sat for them 3 years ago and they've never forgotten our kindness. And now, like at this point, so we can play this, we can chromium on someone else's end step. And then theoretically by turn 8, this is still not lethal. So we discard Rally the Ranks. We have 12 soldiers and 13 other creatures specifically, but 14 total creatures. So Joe is a 15/15 if we get one effect, and they can go up to a 29/29. And then we presumably kill one person, and then like every Voltron player, we accept our fate. Oh, that's awful. So I'm gonna put you genuinely less on YouTube short behavior than the Masker Girl deck. I think you're at least somewhat playing to what this deck wants to do, but I think you got taken over by the brainworms when it came to your interaction section. This is a silly deck. Hey Mauled, continuing with trying to give you aneurysms by having you review of my popper nonsense I play in non-popper pods. I bring you the opposite of my Wilson deck. Wilson has a high win rate in my favorite colors. This was my worst deck in my least favorite colors. This deck came to me in a fugue state, fully formed, and I've made it my mission to win 1 game. Whereas last time my pod caught strays, I'm hoping you'll see this busted Honda Civic of a deck and the piss laser will be aimed squarely at me. Any advice on upgrades would be appreciated within the restriction, and I hope you have a fun time going through what the pores get to play with. P.S. My playgroup had a meeting after the roast and unbanned a lot of stuff. Beautiful. So Shaper, just to remind me of the restrictions, is it popper only, or do we have meaningful restrictions on top of popper? For those of you who don't know, Shaper is a delinquent, so devious, so evil, that they deign to play popper commander decks in a non-popper pod to give the people they play with a fighting chance. If death by 1,000 cuts, Arbazmir. How is this bad? What? Hold on. Boros artifacts? Even in Popper, I refuse to believe this doesn't. Okay. So whenever Arbazmir or another non-token, historic permanent, not even artifacts, but historic permanent ETBs, deal 1 damage to each opponent, gain 1. Okay. I like that. I like that. Chop it off. Good tag. Okay. Non-creature removal works with the commander. Doesn't work with the commander, but it's exile removal in common. Removal with cycling. Do we see how low the bar is? Generous gift is a common. Hell yeah. Make your move Thraben Charm. Okay. So I have the same feelings about removal. I think the problem here is I want to get on my little soapbox about, well, if it's only in as removal, it should remove a lot of stuff. I don't really know how we go with that in Popper. So we'll look at that later. Deeper cuts. Sack an artifact, 2 to everybody. On artifact spell, put a charge counter, remove 3, get an artifact. Hey baby, reduce, reuse, recycle. Ingenious. Okay, artifact ETB equals damage. Mearsmith. Hey, we making artifacts. Oh, but this only cares, okay. So I like this less because Arbazmir specifies non-token. Mysidian Elder, yes. Black Wizards out of Final Fantasy, incredible heat for this. Sunshot I fuck with, Fireweaver I fuck with. Sharp's Container. ETB draw card. That's basically fucking Ristic Study for a popper restriction. Okay, we can sack it. So we have a ton of dog shit. Just a ton. Yeah, Candy Trail. I remember feeling bad when I put this in a draft deck. Brother put this in a commander deck and went, yeah, that'll do it. If you can't tell, I have a jeweler's lens in this hand. Okay, so a bunch of things that say draw me a card are correct. This is correct and good and the direction we should be going. Popper All-Star right here. Hell yeah, give me a basic land. Hell yeah, instant ramen. Hell yeah, Wizards Rockets. White Auracite, also great. Whetstone. So we don't need a ton of ramp. What I am noticing is a tremendous lack of removal. Or God, not removal, recursion. This deck is an angry old man on a porch throwing popcorn kernels at nearby skateboarding children. And it's going to hope that at some point, one of the kernels will hit the child in the eye and they will steer into traffic. I think that's how we win right now. Yeah, we play 40 non-token historic permanents. Stone cold. Stone cold. Our win con is I cast 40 non-token historic permanents. So the thing I want to find is return artifact from graveyard. I'm sure that they have done this type of research. I just have to see it for myself. And then we have to specify popper. I feel like we could do this. This is also ETB. Do we have any? So I feel like rather than, hey, let's cast 40 spells, we try to get in on some flicker behavior. I think if we begin flicking the bean, we have a chance at this. There's Mer Retriever, which is like, We do Mine Excavation. There's also Leonin Squire. So what we can do is we can try to build a package that's like, here are 10 or so ways to recur. Here are 10 or so permanent based ways that, never mind, that's the end. Oh, okay. So that's death. This is also on ETB. This is on ETB. This is on ETB. This is on ETB. So we have 6 that do it on ETB. Pretty sure Shaper has recursion in there. I mean, they have some, but they do not have it in the context that I'm talking about. Which would be, can we pull off a flicker game plan? It's in quick draw, right? But the ones you're doing are either like an instant speed way to do it or a thing that does it on death. I'm trying to think of, can we get up to any business that will let us like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Because another way the flicker game plan would work is then we can go like, okay, legendary creatures become better if it's a shitty legendary, and we can do any type of mass flickering. This would set up some type of weird combo turn that I do not... Wow, that's it. Wow, that's really it. Okay. The fuck? Oh, I must have gotten rid of the rarity. Yeah, I got rid of the rarity restraint. God damn it. My eyes open so wide. Yeah, the flicker and popper is very not impressive. Oh, God. What legendary creatures can we get? Or actually, can I just... Oh, they don't have right, because historic's not a type line. It's a collection of other type lines. So legendary creature, white, red, and then get the rarity correct. Type shit indeed. We can do this. Everybody shut the fuck up, lock in. Everybody lock in right now, okay? I refuse to get channeled. I refuse to get fucking channeled on. Okay. What sagas we got? Show me the money. 5. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's quite bad. Okay. No. Everybody lock the fuck in. We can do this. Two with burst strike. Okay, no. There's a different way to fix this. There's a different way. There's a different way to save this. Just bones. I'm looking for a reason to live right now. We're trying to save a Pauper Boros artifact deck. So, currently our plan, hard cast 40 historic permanents. I don't believe in it. We looked at the flicker plan. It's not happening. We looked at the recursion plan. It's not happening any better than we already have it. The only other thing I can think of is trying to find some type of artifact-based win con. Gabriel, I'm not big on bounce because for bounce it means like bounce I want to avoid us having to cast all of these spells. Let me look at artifacts you control in Boros. Maybe now I'll be impressed. Legal, Pauper Commander. We can do it. Just hear me out, bro. Shaper. This has won me draft games. But I think if we want this to convert to lethal at any point, we do probably have to try to get like creatures that care about artifacts rather than just... Because I do not think we're going to pull off Artifact Storm. And we're at the end of the list. That's to target creatures. Is a 6/6 with no keywords. But I unironically believe in Adaptive Gem Guard for at least something. Like this is a historic permanent that will trigger our commander and we can turn a lot of our terrible, terrible cards into one useful creature. Well, we have a way to lose the game on our own terms, I guess. But otherwise, goddamn, we have the Tron lands. We're using Tron lands to cast instant ramen. You are a fucking demon sent to torment me. Yeah, I think this would be fine. I think this could fit in somehow to the Flicker game plan. It is incredibly little damage, but this is mostly for we would cut the artifacts that self-sack, and we would use this as a way to get artifacts into the graveyard to utilize our ETB artifact recurring shitheads. But even that, god, that's so deep in the fucking Alfredo. So I'm not even confident on that. The only thing I'm confident on is try some flickering. And when you try flickering, try that one, the ancestral statue, and see if we can use that to get some kind of engine going. I mean, I wouldn't even be running makeshift munitions as player damage shaper. I would be using that as creature control. Because what's going to happen in this deck is you get outvalued by everybody over the course of the game. Makeshift munitions to me says, I turn this board of terrible 1-mana artifacts into your value engine being dead. This is a gun with Esper Sentinel's name on it. It is a gun with like, oh, you have Tatyova? I tap out and I sack my board to kill your Tatyova because I cannot survive you having a good value engine on field. We have to move cannon over. This isn't even YouTube short behavior, but we're working towards such a bad dream. You are somewhere, Shaper. I at least this time, this isn't jail. I at least believe in the dream. I just think this is the point at which a rarity restriction is preventing you from doing interesting things rather than forcing you to. I will, of course, not demand that you drop it, but this is the type of thing I'm thinking about where we go, is restriction breeding creativity, or is restriction forcing us to throw bottle caps at people?